All right, welcome to Pages Pixels, everybody. Hope you're all having a great week, and we got a great show for you today because we're gonna do a ranking of just of March 2026. It's kind of like a power ranking. I don't know, Kevin, are you familiar with power rankings?
Well, maybe in a different context, like I know power rankings in like Survivor.
Okay,
Like
yeah, I
yeah.
think power ranking. It's also like a sports
Mm-hmm.
term. It's a lot of ESPN, Bleacher Report, all of those sports websites. They'll do like a power ranking every 2 weeks or so. Basically, they're just saying, hey, in these past 2 weeks, which teams or which players were were the best. And I think that's kind of
Yeah.
what we're doing just with the month of March. It's basically a ranking over a small period of time. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Yeah. Don't they do box office power rankings like with money? Like we used to do predictions at NIFA where we would
oh
try to
yeah,
rank like which movie would make the most money, and
uh
then we
huh.
would be bewildered when a certain movie flopped. I'm trying to remember. I think I correctly predicted that one like
The
part
Chosen.
two, the chosen part
Yeah,
two was gonna skyrocket. I knew that movie was gonna do well,
yeah.
and
Or I mean, not even a
yeah.
movie, but
Oh, it's a series, yeah.
yeah, it's like a theatrical release of a series. But I mean, it still was in the
hmm
top five or whatever. Or was it top three?
I think it was like number two. I don't think
Okay.
it made it number one, cause yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, very memorable box office history moment.
Yeah, just real quick before we get into our rankings, everyone listening, please subscribe to the Pages Pixels YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our videos, and make sure you like this video and turn on post notifications. It really helps us out. All right, let's get into it. Kevin, you want to get started?
Yeah, sure. So for me, my number five is gonna be one of the worst movies I saw last month. I won't say it was the worst, but one thing that I'd like to say is that I like to revisit some movies from the past. And lately, there was a movie that came out a couple of years ago that a lot of people were really hyped for that just did not stick the landing, and that was The Snowman from 2017. Now, the reason this is notable and why I chose to talk about this as opposed to like something that's more recent is because this is officially my 4,000th movie log on Letterboxd.
Nice.
Is it
That.
nice? It was The Snowman.
Okay, but 4,000 deserves a bit of a celebration.
Oh my God, there's balloons. If you're listening with Spotify, um, the balloons for my celebratory snowman watch party. This movie is have you seen it before I get started? Yeah.
No, I was one of the many who was excited for the movie, and then literally everybody was like, "It's terrible," so I decided to skip it.
Oh man, like you definitely dodged a bullet. Unfortunately the bullet hit me like really late in life. Um, so The Snowman is a crime thriller from 2017 directed by Thomas Alfredson. It was supposed to be directed by Martin Scorsese, but late into the production, Scorsese was like, no, I don't want to do that. Uh, probably saw how things were going, and then they had to get a new director. And that ended up being Thomas Alfredson, who is also a great director. He's done Let the Right One In, and I think Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Um, yeah. So like this movie, yeah, like okay, Scorsese's not on it anymore, but it's got Michael Fassbender, it's got Chloe Sevigny, it's got a pretty big, you know, talented cast, um, a talented DP, and the novel that it was inspired by is really popular. What could go wrong? Apparently everything. I think they ran out of budget, and that's the backstory as to why it sucked. Because they didn't end up reshooting scenes, and they were like, okay, well, we're just going to edit this together. What ends up happening is you're following a story that's mostly kind of incoherent. You don't really know what's going on. So many characters get introduced and disappear, and you don't really know what the purpose of them is. Um, so yeah, this was just such a strange experience.
Yeah, again, I never watched that movie. I remember being very excited for it though. Um, but yeah, I just heard it was so bad that I opted to just skip it. And it's funny that you say that there was some not turmoil, but turmoil, I guess, but also turnover in terms of, hey, you had a one director attached, but then a new director came on. Because it's funny
Hmm.
because the Steve Jobs movie, also with Michael Fassbender, also had a bit of that. I believe that it was actually going to be David Fincher directing and Christian Bale starring, and then David Fincher left the project, Christian Bale left the project, and then you ended up getting Michael Fassbender and Danny Boyle coming on. And it ultimately, I mean, I love that movie.
Hmm.
It's my favorite. It's hot take. It's my favorite Sorkin movie. But yeah, so I guess I guess just because a Michael Fassbender movie with a big replacement like that worked once doesn't mean it'll work again.
Yeah, and the thing about him in this movie is he is just very boring. Like I don't even know what his character is supposed to be. You think of very solid detective roles, like in a hardened crime thriller. You're thinking about, and I'll forgive me. I'm saying all these characters are great and memorable. Admittedly, I don't know all their names. Uh, but like I think of like the characters from like Heat. I think of the characters from um like Seven. Even if I don't love that movie, that's a hot take. But I remember all of those characters. They're very fleshed out. Um, the only thing I remember about Fassbender in this movie is that his name is Harry Hole, which I apologize for bringing that upon you. But yes, that is actually his name. I think it's actually pronounced Harry Hola because of it's like Swedish or Norwegian. But they pronounce it Harry Hole in the movie, and you're just like, you can't take the scene seriously, unfortunately.
Yeah, that I don't even know. I feel like. Do you have anything else, or you want to move on?
Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is a movie that actually released last year. I just watched it for the first time, but a lot of my friends have been talking about it. It's called Resurrection. It is directed by B. Gan, who directed another film that I love called the A Long Day's Journey into Night. And Resurrection is kind of it's a really weird sci-fi movie. I would almost compare it to Labyrinth of Cinema, which I know you have seen. Um, I think that movie and this one have a lot in common because a lot of the science fiction elements have to do with cinema and dreams. The the story kind of starts off like an impressionistic like 1920s silent movie where this woman finds a monster who is the only monster that has been able to dream in this world, and all of its dreams are very cinematic, and so we end up seeing kind of like an anthology of different stories that all kind of tie back into um, the art of making movies.
So, was this one of your liked movies or your disliked movies?
So this is actually one of my favorite movies I watched last month.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I really loved this from start to finish. It is a very long movie. It is over 2.5 hours. So it is a bit of a commitment. But what I found really fascinating about it was the production design is just so gorgeous. There are so many different sets and types of sets in this movie. A lot of them look like handmade, but like almost like theater. And then you'll cut to a place that looks like it's just like it's straight out of nature, and you're just like, where the hell am I? Like it's just like it goes between so many different places, and yeah, I mean, I don't think I need to say that much more about it. I think if you're curious about it, you should check it out. It's on the Criterion channel right now. So yeah, definitely something worth watching. It was it was definitely it should have definitely been up for like an Oscar for production design if it were to be nominated.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about this movie and I know that it got good reviews, which is why I was a little bit confused for a second because I know you have three good ones, two bad ones,
Hmm.
and I wasn't sure if you were just going up up the ladder in terms of
Yeah,
just the bad.
that's fair. I should have prefaced that the artsy indie movie is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah. But let's get on to another bad movie, starring Chloe Sevigny, no less. Um, I didn't watch that many bad movies. I almost was tempted to talk about a movie that I found just to be kind of mid. But the next movie I want to talk about is called Hashtag Horror, and oh my gosh, it is like maybe like bottom five worst movie I've ever seen. It's really bad. Have you heard of this by chance?
I have not actually, but now I'm tempted to look it up just out of curiosity, I guess, morbid curiosity.
So it's kind of like the snowman in that it's incoherent. There's like this group of 12-year-olds and they're 12-year-old girls and they're at like a slumber party, but they're all mean to each other. Like 65%, I'm giving you an arbitrary number. 65% of this movie is one girl will be like, "That's a really cool outfit," and then another girl will be like, "I hate you and I hope you die." And it's literally like that the whole time. And then the other 20% is you'll get like flashbanged on the screen by this digital like it's like you see one of those casino mobile game ads, but it's opened on like 20 different tabs on your computer, and it's just like flashing, flaring lights. Like you're looking at me like this is crazy. It could not possibly be that bad. Rohan, look it up after this is over. I beg you, like watch the first like 5 minutes of the movie. You'll be like, what the fuck is this?
I will definitely check out at the very least the trailer.
I don't know if the trailer, I don't recall what's in the trailer, but yeah. I mentioned Chloe Sevigny is in this. It's in a very minor role. She pretty much leaves the children unattended and then comes back and is like, "Oh my gosh." And then that's it. Like I don't think she does anything in the movie. Um yeah, this is a bad movie for the ages. It came out in 2015 and it just I don't know. Chloe Sevigny just she was in desperate times back then. So I hope she's doing okay now.
Yeah, hopefully.
Um, the next movie that I want to talk about is on a subject I know you love very much, which is basketball. Um, I watched Hoop Dreams twice this month. Um, it's an outstanding documentary, and it is essentially about two basketball prodigies who are trying to get into um, the NBA and basically what it takes, what is their journey to become a professional basketball player.
Yeah, I have heard about this movie. Have not seen it, though. It is one of the ones that I do plan on checking out at some point.
Yeah, I think like you definitely should watch it if you're a fan of basketball. I mean, I'm someone who I grew up in a household where and I mean this is perfect month this is the perfect month to end it. March Madness is about to be over. Um and growing up in the Duke Blue Devils versus Tar Heels household, it's so wild because you're you almost have like split attention. You want to give your parents like both support. But I was always a Duke fan. I think my dad's gonna call some bullshit on that because he he knows I'm just not the sporty kid. But I do enjoy watching basketball, and I think that this movie is not just about that. It's more about the dreams, like what what it takes for these two uh youth to like achieve their dreams and what they're gonna have to do. They sacrifice a lot. Their family goes through a lot, um, and there's a lot of community that they show in this movie. And seeing it not just once but twice in a month, it really left an impact on me. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely heard about this movie. I haven't gotten a chance to see it. In terms of Duke versus UNC, I don't really watch college basketball, but I guess Duke. UNC, has there ever been a good player coming out of UNC? That is a joke.
Um,
That is a
yeah, I
joke.
know. You're April fooling me. Don't do it.
Yes, for the audience who does not know, yes, Michael Jordan came from UNC, so
Mhm.
there are definitely good players from UNC. At least one.
With Duke, I think it was JJ Redick was probably one of the biggest that came out of Duke.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's been some other ones. Cooper Flag recently just came out of Duke, and he went number one overall. He's great. I know Zion
Mhm.
Williamson did, and unfortunately I think he ended up being a bunch of wasted potential. But yeah,
I cannot say anything because if my mom is listening, she'll be very upset. Um, but yeah, I think that this, yeah, going back to Hoop Dreams, it's a great movie. Again, another long one. So, if you have the time, definitely dedicate it to watching that movie. I hope it would inspire you to go and achieve your dreams, whatever it is. And the last one, since I've named two long movies, I'm going to name a shorter movie that came out, I think, last year. It is called Rap World. And oh boy, this is have you heard of the comedian internet personality called named Connor O'Malley?
I think so. The name rings a bell, but I can't really describe much.
I have a spoiler alert for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Um, so he is the guy that appears at the very end of that movie. Like he
Oh,
completely
okay.
missed all of the events that happened in Bodies,
Yeah,
Bodies, Bodies. He just shows up and is like, "What?" Um, he makes a lot of movies. They're a lot shorter. They're like short films. It's short form like YouTube content. But this one is like, almost an hour long, and it's like a buddy comedy about this group of guys who are very like Y2K. They're very white, and they want to make a rap album. And all in the span of one night, their goal is to make this rap album. Do we ever see them record their rap album?
I'm gonna
No.
guess no.
Like, I think they do spit some bars, but I don't think they actually come up with anything of substance. Um, it's one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. It's just like real start to finish, just a lot of laughs, a lot of tongue in cheek like humor, a lot of just pretending to be in a different era. Um, there's like a moment where like a mom like walks into like some guy's basement and is like, "You need to get out of here. Like, who are these people?" Those sort of moments are just like they feel almost very nostalgic in this movie. Um, I think you'd have a ton of fun with it. So
Yeah, I will have to check it out. Is it streaming somewhere or?
it's on YouTube.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, so that is my top five. I would say it's not necessarily based purely on uh like favorite movies ever, but I mean especially not for the bad ones, but on like memorability and like like what I'm going to be thinking about going into this month. Those are the movies that I really enjoyed. I'm excited to hear um, what you would like to, what you have to bring to the table.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just gonna do very, very simple. I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way up to the top. The first one is also a bit. It's a, it's not a March release. This movie came out in January in theaters, but it just dropped on Netflix in March. And I mean, like this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Border Two is it's the new Bollywood movie that came out. Not the one there, the other propaganda Bollywood movie that came out this year.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, but and I'm going to compare a little bit to Dhurandhar, where I do believe that both of them are propaganda, different types of propaganda, but propaganda nonetheless. Um, at the very least, I think Dhurandhar is well made. Border Two is just absolutely terrible. I mean, I I just can't think of many or okay. There's a one redeeming quality in this movie, which is Diljit. I think his performance was genuinely quite good. He was the standout. Everything else about this movie just sucked. I hated the music. I thought the humor was just not funny. There was this big running gag of this guy where I guess he got married when he was like 10 or whatever like that, but then he never moved in with his wife, obviously, because they were 10. And then now that he's an adult, he has to man up and bring her home. It's just this weird. It's just weird, and it's not. They're trying to be really funny about it. It's just not working. And then on top of that, of
Hmm.
course, there's it's a war movie where, unlike most war movies where it's like, hey, war is a tragedy, it's like, no, war is awesome, war is fun, like, let's go to war, send your kids to war, yeah, that's awesome, right? And if you don't do that, then you are then you hate your country. It's yeah, I do not understand, like, any, like, every moment of this movie, I'm just like, who the hell thought this was a good idea? Um, yeah, it's just like poorly made, unfortunately poorly acted. Despite having some really big actors in it, the performances were just silly,
Hmm.
and also it's 3.5 hours long. It was just exhausting.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
yeah, it's
That's
not
longer
even
than
a
Hoop Dreams and and The Snowman combined.
it's not even a movie that I could. Yeah, I don't even. No amount of alcohol or any other substance, if you partake in that, will would make this movie tolerable.
What has been the audience reaction to that movie?
That's a good question. I am gonna be honest. I don't see as much of, like, Indian film Twitter. I definitely see it, but not as much as I see it for, like, American films. Um, but I mean, when this movie came out, honestly, it felt like it just came and went. Like, I don't remember anyone really talking about it. I don't remember any of the songs being hits. I mean, none of them are played like now. I remember even last year when the movie Fighter came out, which wasn't the best. I remember people talking about it. I remember people talking about the music. Of course, The Run There is probably the most talked about, um, at least Hindi film, in quite some time, as was the
Hmm.
second one. But I just literally saw nobody. It just felt like nobody cared about Border Two. I watched it with my family. Everyone hated it. Um, I know a few other people who have seen it. They also hated it. Some of them couldn't even get through it. Um, but yeah,
Do you think I would like this movie?
absolutely not.
Well, I guess it's time to stay away from Border and Border 2.
Yeah.
Is there any, I mean, I don't know, I mean, like, it just sounds really horrible, and I don't think I wanted
It really was.
it sucks when you like have a movie that has like a huge cast and a lot of like people pouring energy into it,
Hmm.
and it just kind of doesn't like go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think unfortunately this movie is, um, I mean, there's been a lot of war propaganda-ish movies, and I'm not going to get too political with the current state of India, but there's some concern happening there. So I think this movie feels like it was made um, to basically sell like war as an awesome thing to people. Now, I'm not just saying the government contracted the studio to
Hmm.
make it, but it's like that's kind of where the winds are blowing, and that's where the studios will go to. It's kind of like, hey, war is cool, so let's make a movie about how cool war is. Fortunately, or I guess fortunately, it didn't work, and I don't think anybody cared about it.
Well, that can only be a good thing, I guess, if it was
Yeah.
that bad.
All right, I'm gonna move on, and I'm actually gonna have a show which, full disclosure, I don't think the show has finished airing this season. Nor have I caught up with every single episode. I have watched the first 3 episodes. Um, and this isn't terrible, but it is something very disappointing. And that is Invincible Season 4. Um,
The Office guys are sad.
I know. But I mean, hell, even them. I mean, I was talking to our coworkers, Chris and Kenny, right? And even they were like, "Yeah, episode 1 was super boring. Episode 2 was good. I agree." And then I finished episode 3, and I'm like, "Eh." Again, it's not terrible. It's just disappointing, and I think the reason for that is because the character of Mark, he's just not fun to watch anymore. I mean, this is like, I mean, episode 1, he's fighting a guy who turns into a dinosaur. It's an animated show. Superhero fighting a guy who turns into a dinosaur. That sounds silly and fun, right? But no, I mean, like, fight ends and he goes home and then he's just like, I'm sad. And then, um, and then that's his entire every single scene of him is just him kind of whining. It reminds me a little bit of, and I know a lot of people like this movie. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's that second Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, Far From
Hmm.
Home, when they're in Europe. And the reason I didn't really love that movie is because I feel like Spider-Man in every scene is just whining, um, and it's like, dude, there's like so much happening, um, and at least with Spider-Man, it's like even though he was whining, the movie was still having fun. I feel like Invincible has a character who is like clinically depressed, and then it wants you to feel that way also, while also trying to enjoy fights with like against dinosaurs and giant dragons and all that.
Hmm.
And the one episode that stands out is the episode that Mark is not even in the show, because it's all about Omni Man, and it's entirely in space, not on Earth. And you have Omni Man dealing with similar stuff, um, but the show is still figuring out a way to have fun with it. And I genuinely loved that episode. But episodes 1 and 3, I'm just like, I just felt that they were disappointing. And if this is what the show is, um, then yeah, I mean, this went from a show that I absolutely loved in season 1 to just something that I'm very meh.
That's disappointing to hear. I mean, I think I did not finish Invincible season 3. I did watch seasons 1 and 2. Um, and 3, I don't recall if I dropped because of quality or just because of
Mm-hmm.
time. But I feel very similar. Like I remember Mark being very whiny as well,
Yeah.
even then. And I think that part of it is that I think they're almost trying to be too lean too much into the trauma of your hero dad is not who he was really. I know this is kind of major spoilers if you haven't seen the first season or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, at this point, people have seen the memes. They know.
Think.
um, I wish that Mark was just more more fun, and I think that he hasn't grown. I don't feel the growth arc when I was watching him in season two, and I wasn't seeing it in three. And it sounds like he's still the same even
Yeah.
in four. And that seems really frustrating because like if you've got a character who needs to resolve like or is like never going to resolve that trauma until like the end, um, you've got to give him other things. Now, again, I'm not watching the season, so I can't really say. But, I think part of why I lost so much interest in Invincible is just because it kind of became repetitive and they started fleshing out more characters that, admittedly, I like them more now, but the main part of the show was watching Mark fight to
Yeah.
become a superhero, and then eventually get it, and then I just don't feel like it's gone anywhere.
And unfortunately, Eve this season um, has just joined him because every scene with her feels like that also.
Hmm. That sucks. Say what you want about Izuku Midoriya. He got beat all to hell and he never gave up.
Yeah. Um, okay, but enough. I guess enough negativity. Let's get on to stuff that I have been really liking.
Hmm.
This is another show where it's. I mean, I haven't actually completed it, but I'm only one episode behind. I believe this season is only 10 episodes, and I finished episode 9, and that is Shrinking. I know I believe I mentioned it uh, last week that this is something that I've been watching. But this show is awesome. I mean, I like season 1 and 2, and I but I don't know why season 3 just feels like it's another level. I think season 1 they were still introducing the characters. They were still introducing the trauma that each character has been through. So there was more moments of um, like there's more sad moments, while in season 3 it's not that the characters don't have their own issues. It's they're not necessarily they're a little bit more separated from the trauma. They've grown more, and the show has recognized this, and has also recognized that hey, at the end of the day, we are a half-hour comedy, so let's just make it super funny. Season 3 is just hilarious. It has, don't get me wrong, it still has those heartfelt, human moments, but it's also again, it's just funnier than any of the previous seasons. So yeah, I have been loving Shrinking season 3. They're still the regular size though, so yeah, there is that.
I get the joke, even if I have not seen an episode, unfortunately. I've heard good things. Isn't Harrison Ford in this show?
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it feels like they're making him leave the show, and I don't know any. I haven't heard any news of him leaving the show. I did Google it, and there's been no official reports. Just the way that the character arc is going, it feels like he's gonna leave the show. But yeah, we'll see. I hope he doesn't. I love him in the show.
He recently won he won that Oscar or something, a SAG award.
Hmm.
Um, and so, he's definitely getting his flowers lately.
Yeah,
Um, maybe he's headed toward retirement. Would be sad, but he's gotten a lot of work.
yeah, yeah. I mean, one of one of the greatest, at least movie stars, for
Hmm.
sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, and the next thing I have is actually also a show. Um, it's Bait, which stars Riz Ahmed, and basically it's Riz Ahmed as James Bond, but not really because he's playing an actor who is in the running to uh, to be the next James Bond. But then he's going, and this is also a comedy, but he's also going through a lot of personal stuff. I mean, he's hallucinating all the time, and even he's just wondering like, hey, is this really who I want to be,
Hmm.
or do I owe more to my people and my community? And he's kind of um, he's kind of confronting his desire to be famous, while and also his want um, to bring about social change and uplift his own community, and make a better life for his family.
What a
Um,
bunch of nonsense, right?
and it's funny because I say all this heavy stuff, but this movie or this show is hilarious. It's almost tempting to call it a movie because it's 6 episodes, and I think each episode is like 24 minutes, but then also if you cut out the credits, it's really like 20 minutes an episode, right? Um,
Hmm.
so it feels like a movie because of how short it is. I mean, it's such an easy binge. But yeah, um, I mean, it's exactly what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be super funny. But then it also did a lot more than that, which is something that I didn't. I expected a little bit, but I didn't expect it to this level. And you also, again, you have like these crazy moments. Episode 5 it felt like he was on an acid trip the entire time, running around with the head of a pig. Um,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Uh, that
And
sounds really
then,
cool, and I've heard of this. I've heard of this show. I remember thinking the concept was pretty funny because like I'm pretty sure this is birthed from people. I mean, this is literal Twitter like discourse, like at least like once a year, right?
yeah.
Someone says like a minority or a person of color should be James Bond, and then there are
Mhm.
people that are like, "No, you can't do that. He has to be white and British." And
Yeah.
they freak out. I'm guessing that's where a lot of the inspiration of this show came from.
Oh, I'm sure it did. Um, and yeah, it is also an Amazon show, and Amazon did just acquire MGM, so they are, um, they own the rights for Bond.
Hmm. Yeah. And so like do you think there's a chance now that Riz Ahmed actually gets to play James Bond?
I would like it, but um, but I almost wonder if it's like too on the nose and too silly.
Mm.
And
It's like
I
you can't be James Bond, but you can play a guy who got the part to play
Yeah,
James.
in a different show. And I honestly wonder. I feel like if I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon were to offer him the role and Riz Ahmed himself would turn it down, because I mean, not that I don't think he'd be great. I think he's a great actor, but I think he definitely comes off as one of those guys who he he doesn't necessarily need the career boost. Not that he's at the level of fame as a Timothée Chalamet, but he's getting work regularly. He's making his own stuff also, and it really feels
Hmm.
like he's more interested in doing the more artsy stuff that's smaller as opposed to the big things like a James Bond.
Yeah, I mean he'd be great. I'm sure there's still lots of good options.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm here for Riz Ahmed. I still need to see the Sound of Metal. That's been a
Oh,
big
yeah.
blind spot for me. I need to see
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I mean, he was incredible in that movie, and in my opinion, should have won the Oscar that year.
Against Anthony Hopkins, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, probably.
hmm And no disrespect to Chadwick Boseman, also, I just feel like Riz Ahmed was better. All right, and my number one, uh, finally gonna go to another movie this time. But my number one thing that I watched in March is still Project Hail Mary. I just watched it again for the second time yesterday. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and it's the movie is just so good. Um, I think I think I liked it. Yeah, I don't know if I liked it better the second time. I still loved it. It was already like I already loved it so much the first time. Can't really get much better from there. Uh, but yeah, this movie, it's just incredible. This is the kind of stuff I want from blockbuster filmmaking.
I uh I have to admit something, Rohan. I have pulled a very late April Fool's prank on you, because Project Hail Mary does rank higher than, I would say, all of the movies that I listed, but I didn't want to do it just to see if you caught that I didn't list it. Um,
Well, you'd
so
kind of
yeah,
mentioned you don't want to talk about stuff you already talked about, so I figured you weren't going to talk about Hail Mary.
true. But I also hadn't actually watched it when we did the episode, and so I was kind of like, well,
Oh, right.
listen, like I want to be, fair. I think with Project Hail Mary, now that I have seen it, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
such a great movie. Like wow, like I feel like it's like I got the opportunity to see something like an Interstellar or a 2001 type movie in theaters. I had never had that experience. Um, Probably the craziest theater experience I had as a kid was watching like Speed Racer, and my family hated it. Um, I really loved Project Hail Mary though. It's a great experience. Just just the bond between Ryland and Rocky is just so great. I love Sandra
Hmm.
Hüller in it. She has a scene in it that made me cry more than the scene that was supposed to make me cry did. Um, why do you think so many people are just like loving this movie?
I feel like this movie is just, it reminds me a lot of, and I know you're not a big fan of the show, but it reminds me a lot of kind of the Ted Lasso uh,
Hmm.
like phenomenon when it came out. Because I think Ted Lasso, when it originally came out, it came out during COVID, or maybe like around that time. There was a lot of stress in the world. Um, People kind of, obviously everyone at their throats, at each other's throats, kind of like now. And then I think that show came out, and the entire show was literally just, um, people called it kindness porn, which is, it's just, it's just people being very, very, very nice to each other, even when maybe they don't necessarily have no reason to be. That's kind of a lot what the show was, and um, I think it's just something that was very happy and positive out there, and I think
Hmm.
that is a little bit of Hail Mary also, even though it's dealing with very dark themes and moments. But yeah, I think Project Hail Mary, it is, again, it's dealing with heavy themes, obviously extinction. Um, Grace is sent on a mission where um, he is going to die, right? But
Hmm.
even through all that, it's there's so many wholesome moments. He's always laughing. Him and Rocky establish a great friendship, and um, Strat, the Sandra Hüller character, is, I guess, I mean, I wouldn't call her a villain. I think she's the closest thing there is to like a villain, but I don't think anyone would actually call her a true antagonist or a villain. It's really just the antagonist is a situation, uh, and it's yeah, it's I mean, it's about, ultimately this movie is about a friendship and people working together, and I think while also being combined with an awesome spectacle, because there's so many moments in that movie. The go fishing scene.
Hmm.
It that is just one of the best action sequences in a movie. If you want to, it's not a fight sequence, but it's still an action sequence if you want to call it that.
Hmm.
So I think I think it's just very, very wholesome, makes people feel good, as well as providing awesome spectacle.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, I also I think that, I'm trying to think of another movie like that came out last year that I felt like had like the same kind of like cultural impact in a way. Like this already feels like a classic in a lot of ways, and it's just hard to figure out why, other than big blockbuster sci-fi movies are just like very easy to like make people happy. But everything that you said about something kind of positive in all of this darkness,
Hmm.
just like yeah, like it really speaks to me because I think it is really heartwarming. I mean, a lot of the first half of the movie, like I described to you earlier before we started recording, was, I think this movie is a little bit depressing,
Hmm.
for the most part. And then once you start to see this like human alien progress actually start to happen, you feel very warm. There's just a lot of great things that happen, unexpected things. For me, like I did not. I thought that this movie was gonna end with like. All right, I won't spoil the ending, but I thought that the ending was gonna be more straightforward, with a resolution, and the resolution was nothing like what I thought it was gonna be. I really was blown away by the end.
Hmm. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, I just yeah, it's an awesome movie, and I know that you mentioned like a big sci-fi movie, but it's funny because I feel like the last one that I can think of that had this level of impact was Interstellar. I think The Martian came out, and The Martian was very, very popular, did very well. People loved it, but I don't know if it had. I mean, people don't really talk about The Martian the way they talk about
Hmm.
Interstellar. And in fairness, at the time, I think The Martian was actually more well received than Interstellar at first. Interstellar has kind of aged well with time.
Yeah.
We'll see. Of course, we'll see how Project Hail Mary um, stands that test of time. But yeah, I think the last time I really remember people being this like, oh my god, was with Interstellar.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like even though I didn't watch the movie, I remember seeing a lot of people. It was like mixed opinions on
Hmm.
Interstellar. I,
Yeah,
I, I saw a lot of love for it, but then I saw some people say it was like it made no sense. It
yeah,
sucks. It's one of the worst things Christopher Nolan's ever made.
hmm yeah. I remember
Yeah, yeah. No, you're wrong. If you think that, I'm sorry. I'm here to tell you you're incorrect. Go back to school.
Yeah,
Don't try to come for Interstellar right now.
yeah. I guess what I guess yeah. I guess I should clarify. Like Interstellar was it got mixed reviews. I think the people who loved it, um,
Yeah.
and there was also a lot of people who didn't like it. While The Martian was like there was I think everyone was positive on it, but there weren't very many people that like loved it the way that people loved Interstellar or the way that even people love Project Hail Mary.
I think we're gonna hear a lot about this movie
Hmm.
for till the end of the year,
Yeah.
and oh my goodness, like we're already like almost a quarter of a way
Yep.
through, like uh, or we are a quarter of the way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Q1 just ended.
Goodness gracious. So that's it for this week's episode of Pages to Pixels. We gave our top five best and worst movies that we saw in March 2026. What were your top five favorite or least favorite movies? Tell us below in the comments. Chat it up down there. We kind of, if we want to talk to you, please let me talk. Please, I just want 5 seconds of your time. Just kidding. But yeah, I've been Kevin. That's Rohan. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time with another awesome episode.
Thank you.